Welcome to my channel. Today I decided to do a video about something that is not easy for people that have got adult children, young adult children, to do or to grasp. And I decided to do it because I've heard a few people complaining, like especially young adults. I've heard a few complaining about this from different places, and then also my daughter and I were chatting about it, and she said to me that she thinks I should do a video about it because she thinks that there's a lot of people out there that might need to hear it. So I decided that I would do it. I'd listen to her and I would do a video about this. So the video, as you probably saw from the title, is learning to let go of your young adult child, you could say. She's not a child anymore, but she's still your child. So like I said to Storm, she's going to be my baby girl until I die. So even if she's like 40 or 60, she's still my baby girl.
I love being creative and trying new things in my journey through life, writing best practices, tips and tricks, sharing updates on my own writing and books with different tutorials sprinkled in between. I enjoy sharing my knowledge. There's music covers and original pieces written and composed by me, handmade jewelry reveals, sewing videos, other crafts, poetry reading, book reviews, and many, many more. Come and join me on this journey, and let's have fun together.
So I have not scripted this video, so please have patience with me because I decided not to do a script and just to follow the Lord's promptings and like any knowledge that I have, head knowledge that I might have, and just my opinion. Obviously this is like a disclaimer, this is just my opinion. It's just what's worked for me and my daughter, and I just felt like I want to share it so that if you are feeling a little bit lost in this area, it will help you as well, because it's not easy. I can tell you. I'm going to give you a little bit of background of why it was so difficult for me and why I was holding on to her for dear life, and I will maybe then you'll understand where I was coming from, but also how difficult it was to actually let go. So first of all, I can tell you that I'm sure if you've been here for a second, or if you know me at all, you'll know that my youngest daughter passed away when she was 5. She passed away in my arms. We were on our way back from a weekend away, and that was in 2009. So it's been a while. But since then, I was like overprotective. Even when she was around, I was overprotective. But now after that, I was even more overprotective because now I only had my one child left, and I did not want to lose her at all. So I held on to her very tightly. Shame. I was quite strict because I am quite strict, even though some people don't believe me when I say that, but some people do believe me because apparently her friends were terrified of me, which is strange because I'm actually quite fun. I just don't like naughty children. That's just a thing, But she was actually a very good child, but that's because she, in South Africa, we could still give our children hidings at that point, and they used to get a lot of hidings when they were younger. And this is actually something that her and I were talking about it, and I said to her, I used to give her a lot of hidings when she was small, and I stopped giving her. She was about 6 years old when she stopped getting like consistent hidings, because then she kind of knew, if I get looked at in this manner, then I must know that the next thing that's coming is going to be a hiding. So then she generally would stop what she's doing, and I would only have to, it was actually like clockwork. We would only have to give her a hiding, because it was the same with Alexis. We only had to give them a hiding every 6 months. Basically, it's almost like they forgot, and you had to just remind them that their backsides are going to burn, and then they were fine for the next 6 months again. It was the strangest thing. And yeah, I can tell you that my ex-sister-in-law had a house that was full of fairies and porcelain dolls, and they used to be on the floor and everywhere. And other children, I noticed, would touch it and sometimes break her stuff and that, and the parents would do nothing. My children, on the other hand, they just had to reach for it, and I just look at them, and then they would put their hands back again and they wouldn't touch anything. And that was one of the things about why I was so glad I disciplined them, was that I could take them anywhere and I would not be embarrassed. I would not be like horrified because these kids are throwing such a temper tantrum. In fact, each of them did it once in a shopping center and not again. And I can also tell you, just to give you, I know I'm not talking about children now as a small thing, but when they were small, if they threw a temper tantrum in the shopping center, I would not say to them, when we get home, your backside is going to burn. I didn't do that, because when we get home, they've forgotten what they did. So if you smack them then, they don't quite fully understand. You can tell them, but they don't get the gravity of it. So I used to smack them right then and there, and I couldn't care who was watching, because I can also tell you that they might have something to say about you smacking your child, but if your child's throwing a temper tantrum, they will also have something to say about that. So I didn't care who was watching. I wanted my children to be functioning members of society that I would not be embarrassed about, and I'd give them a hiding right then and there, and they did it once, not again. They never threw a temper tantrum again, not even at home. So I can just tell you that that's my background. So because Alexis passed away, I was holding on to Storm quite like for dear life, because I just didn't want to lose her in any way, and I didn't want to take any chances with her. So she was not allowed to sleep out, which I still think it was not a bad idea, because a lot of things happen on sleep outs. I know, I've been there. So she wasn't allowed to sleep out by anybody. If they wanted to sleep out, they could come to our house and sleep over there. She wasn't ever allowed to have boys in her room. Not ever. If I found a boy in the room, there was big trouble. So never boys in the room. I didn't care what age they were. They could have been small, big, doesn't matter. No boys in the room. Then came when she was 18. So I also I homeschooled her for 3 years until she matriculated. She passed with university entrance, and it was not easy for her because, like I say, I'm quite strict. I expect the best because I'm also very I always expect the best. I mean, my staff that used to be when I was a customer service manager, they could also tell you I had high expectations, but I did not do them in such a way that it put her under too much pressure. And I just said to her that she needs to give me her best. That is all I want. If her best is still not a pass or whatever, then so be it. But I mean, she must just do her best, and she always did. Then came when she turned 18. And I actually, I spoke about it to the Lord beforehand, and I had discussions and everything, and I decided to take my hands off her. Now that doesn't mean I told her to get out or anything. She still lives with us. She lives between my mom and I, so she moves around. She's like a gypsy at the moment. But when I say I took my hands off her, I basically let her be her completely. And it was scary because, as any person will tell you, when you get to that point, you think to yourself, is this child going to go ape now? Is she going to just do like all crazy stuff because now you've taken your hands off of her? or what. But actually, your child cannot prove to you that they are trustworthy or that they have taken in everything that you've taught them unless you allow them to do life, basically. So when I still remember when I took my hands off her, she thought it was a trick. She's like, this is a trick. I'm not falling for it. I still remember it was funny. And by the time she got her license and my mom got her a car, she is all over the place. I mean, like when they, in Afrikaans, they call it gatskier, which is just basically, it means you, how would you say it in English? It's actually fun. Like, see, Afrikaans sometimes has words that you can't really put in English because they just don't sound the same. But if I directly translate it from Afrikaans to English, it is you backside sand. So you're riding around the whole time, basically. And she's out there all the time. She goes to friends and she comes here often to visit. Like when she's not living here, she comes and visits. And she comes to help me sometimes because at the moment I currently don't have my car because my mom's using it. But she, like, she's all over the place. Now, if I had not taken my hands off her, because now she also, and she visits friends and stuff, and one of those friends is a boy. And I just looked at her and I said to her, you know what I've taught you. So, you need to, it's between you and God what you do from now onwards. And she has not let me down. Yes, she might, because I mean, she's human. And I'm not going to go off at her like that. I will probably lecture her because, my family's good at lecturing. But I have to remember that she has to learn to look after herself. She has to learn to spread her wings now on her own and learn how to fly. So I've basically handed her over to God. Even her career choices, what she's going to do with her life, all of those things, I've handed everything over to God. And so is she, actually. So I believe that He will help her to go on the right way. If you are not a Christian, I can tell you it still works the same way. You still have to let go. You can't hold on to them because then they can't show you that they learned the lessons that you taught them. They won't have the opportunity to show you that they are trustworthy unless you put them in a position where they have to show you that they are trustworthy. If you are forever holding on to them, they won't be able to show you that they're trustworthy because they are still there by you. So you need to let go so that they can show you that they are trustworthy. And if they let you down and they fall, you need to remember that so did you. Because, we are human. You also fell, you also made mistakes, and that is how you learned. And that is how they're going to have to learn. And even though it is very hard for a parent to know that, you don't want your child to learn that way. You don't want them to get hurt. You don't want them to have to go through all of that. They have to, because any way for someone to learn is to make mistakes. I mean, it in every area of life, that is how it works. Business, personal, everything. The only way that you can learn is by making mistakes. So don't be tough on them if they make mistakes, because it will happen. You can bet your bottom dollar it will happen. Just be there for them when they make a mistake. Guide them, uplift them, and just tell them that you love them unconditionally so that they have a safe place to come to, because you don't want them to go to somebody else to look for that safe place, because then they're going to go and look in the wrong places. Another thing that I've noticed that there are some youngsters that go looking for love in the wrong places, like guys, and they've slept around already, and so the parents don't want them to they don't want to let them go, and they don't want to let go of the reins because they're scared of what's going to happen. I can tell you that the one reason that happens most of the time with younger kids is because they haven't got a father figure that loves them, basically. One that is interested in them, or one that doesn't show doesn't show that they love them. They might have the father figure, but he might not be present in their life and might not show any attention to them at all. So what happens is the youngster goes and looks for that love by a male, another male. And the problem with that, or female, if they, that does happen. But the problem with that is that it doesn't matter which guy they go to, none of them can give them the fatherly love that they are looking for, because that's not the type of love they'll get from those guys, if any love at all. So you as a parent can just warn your child about that, because this is how I also warned Storm. I said to her, you will not find that type of any fatherly love from anybody, so don't look for it there. And then what you can do as a mother, if you are a single parent, is just give lots of love and make it a safe place for them to come and talk to you about anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Sex, you can't cringe because you need to answer these questions, because if you're not answering them, somebody else is, and it's usually not somebody you want to answer them. And I know in the olden days everyone was like, oh, sex is a no subject, but it can't be, because it's part of life and it's something you need to talk about. It's something you have to talk about with your child. And even though it makes you cringe because you don't actually want them to know, they will find out. So rather you tell them than some other person tells them. So yes, that's my lecture. As far as I know, I think I've covered everything about letting go. I think that it's just, I know it's going to be difficult for you, because it was difficult for me too. But you just need to let go. You're just going to have to, because if they are of that age where they are now young adults, you're going to have to do it. If your child seems to be too young, but yet they are like 19 or 20, but they just seem so young, it's because you've been holding on to them for too long. You need to let go. You need to let them make mistakes. I know it sounds terrible, but you need to let them make mistakes. And you need to let them go so that they can show you that they can be adults and that they can be trusted. Because if you don't let them go, they will never be able to show you that. And they will forever be children in your house, because you are not letting them go to be able to become adults. So you'll sit with that child until they're 60. I mean, I've seen it many times. I don't really want to comment too much about my husband's family, but there is a person in the family that was held onto very tightly by the parent, and he's older than me, and he still struggles to be an adult because he was held on so tightly by his mother. And you need to let go. I know it's, like I say, it's difficult, but you just have to do it, because otherwise you'll be sitting with that child that is 45 years old, sitting in your house, sponging off you because you did not allow them to become an adult. So unless you want that, if that's what you want, your child, but trust me, by 40 you're going to be up here with them sponging off you, then baby them. But if not, you're going to need to let go. Whether you like it or not, you're going to need to let go. And then just be there when they fall. And that is our job as a parent. We have to pick up the pieces afterwards when something goes wrong. It's not the most pleasant thing, and it's not fun, but that is our jobs as parents. Be there, give love, unconditional love, and just show your child that you love them even when they make mistakes, and allow them to make mistakes, because they're going to. So you're going to need to allow them to. So anyway, as I was saying, lecture over. I hope that this helped you in some way. And if it did, if you can please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, if you can please do so and click the little subscription block below. It shows support for my channel, which I really do appreciate. And if you click the little bell notification, it will let you know when I upload a video again. Not all videos are like this one. There's all different types of videos, so you can just go and check my playlists. And if you go to www.patreon.com/Ondeane Lourens, you'll also find more content from me, and it's also the best place for you to support what I do on this channel and also what I do on my blog. I hope that you have a lovely day further. Keep your crystal on, your sparkle strong, and enjoy your moments. Goodbye.